experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Walsh, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line. Again, it is 833-212-1017. You can call in, text in, and share any of your thoughts or comments on today's show. You can also watch and stream us live on the YouTubes by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like. You can give us a share. You can give us a subscribe by hitting that little bell so you don't miss any of your award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. We'll be actually also today, we're giving away, they got me messed up. What you mean? No. No, today's Wednesday. My ticket giveaway is today. I hope y'all ain't mess up now. Today? Why y'all do it today? You a lie. On Tori's show? Tori did it yesterday. Oh wow. Okay. Well, you know. Y'all getting a little inside baseball now. We'll talk about it during the break. But it's Oh, Zach been in my ear. I'm sitting here. 833-212-1017. Again, that's the talking text line. Shout out to DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and the twos. And shout out to Truth Nation as well. Again, make sure y'all watch the streamers live on YouTube as we get into it. And Truth Nation, I'm going to come right in punching. I'm going to come right in swinging. So you know what? We're going to hit them with the off the top. And off the top, y'all, I'm coming off with a punch.
Woke up this morning. You got yourself.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Listen, I know I have discussed ICE quite a bit. I've discussed them a lot, y'all, of late, and simply because their behavior hasn't been abhorrent, reckless, and quite frankly, lawless. And it's hard to believe that we live in a country where people are being snatched off the streets. People are being, rounded up simply because they look a certain way. It's hard to believe that we have people being illegally detained in America. It's hard to believe that American citizens are being shot and killed at protests by federal agents. Like, that is hard to believe that it is happening in America right now, but that's what it is. And I know how deep and disgusting this country can get when it comes to the disgusting things that we have seen. We've seen so much just now, not only now, but also in the past as well. And for me, the most dangerous gang now in America are ICE agents. ICE agents are the most dangerous gang in America at this point, and in my opinion, the operations of ICE have gone too far. They've gone beyond the initial intended scope that they wanted to do of the operation. Now, this morning, there was good news that came out of Minnesota and Minneapolis that there will be a drawback of 700 agents leaving Minnesota, which is a good thing. After weeks of wreaking havoc and chaos, they are finally removing a significant number of agents, which is a good thing for Minneapolis and a good thing for people's safety. But the damage has been done to families and people. People have been killed and traumatized for weeks in Minneapolis and St. Paul and other areas around Minnesota. And I don't just say this just because. I say it because there are accounts of behavior from ICE agents that has been completely appalling. I want y'all to lock in with me real quick. I need y'all to lock in. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some information that to me is disturbing. And to some, it may be scary, but I think we need to fully know and understand what's going on. So I'm asking y'all, Truth Nation, those listening in their car, those listening on the 1017, the Truth app, those who are on YouTube, I need you to lock in with me today. I'm not going to spend the full show talking about ICE, but I'm going to share a story. I'm going to share multiple stories of currently what is happening, but then also attach it back to what has happened in the past and how we have been impacted in the past, and understanding what generational trauma is all about. Understanding that I myself I'm still feeling generational trauma from a time that I wasn't even around to see. And that is exactly what is being exuded on people right now, is this level of trauma that's going to impact lives that aren't even around in America right now. So what I need for y'all to do is to know that I'm going to be playing a 60 minutes clip of a Mexican-American in Chicago. Her interaction with ICE agents, she's going to discuss. And she's going to talk about how she was shot at 7 times and hit 5 times by ICE agents during her incident. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to hear Miriam Martinez's story on 60 Minutes about getting 5 bullet holes in her body from ICE agents.
No.
The Department of Homeland Security says Martinez rammed the agent's SUV, but Martinez says they rammed her. In this surveillance footage, you can see Martinez's gray Nissan Rogue. The Chevy is being driven by Border Patrol agent Charles Exum. They say you rammed their car.
They're the ones that rammed me, and I'm just like...
You never tried to run them over?
I never tried, no. The thing is, I never wanted to provoke them. I just wanted them out the neighborhood.
We did not find video of the collision itself, but Martinez says after the collision, she drove her car around the agent's vehicle because she was scared. What did you fear would happen?
I was like, I can't stay here. Like, they're gonna kill me. Who knows what they're gonna do, honestly. And I just wanted to go somewhere safe. And I just stepped on the gas, and as I was passing them, I just saw them, like, drawing their guns, and I just, like, shrugged, and I just heard the shots.
Agent Exum fired 5 times, according to court records. He said he feared for his life.
I could show you all my wounds, honestly. I want to show you, because I want people to see, like, what happened that day, because they just know I got shot 5 times, but they don't know where, right? So this is the first one I realized. I was like, oh, it's just a pepper pellet, but no. And then I got shot right here. And then I have a wound on the side of my chest right here. And then...
Now she's showing a bullet wound on her leg, her arms.
I got 2 holes in my thigh. And then right here.
Wow.
Right here.
Wow, you're covered in wounds.
Wounds, yeah. And I want people to see, like, what's going on, like, the type of stuff they're doing.
Martinez drove to a nearby auto shop and was taken to a hospital. Hours later, the FBI showed up and arrested her on charges of assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal officers. DHS called Martinez a domestic terrorist. What went through your mind when you heard that?
Like, they're making it seem like I was, like, Bin Laden's daughter. I'm like, what? Like, honestly, I couldn't really process it.
This is what they doing, Truth Nation. They're sitting here having these altercations and these incidents, and they're filing false reports, and they keep calling people domestic terrorists. And I think she hit the nail on the head when she said Bin Laden's daughter. Like, that's the way, like, that is what comes to your mind when you think of terrorism because of our age group, whether you are a millennial or whether you are a Gen Zer, and maybe even people from Generation X. When you hear about terrorists, you think of Osama bin Laden, you think of 9/11. And so calling people domestic terrorists, they understand what they are doing. They understand what they're trying to put out there. And seeing this woman who was clearly traumatized, this woman who was shot, a human being being shot 5 times, claiming it was because she swiped their car. Now, I do not believe, because some information came out where she was following agents for 20 minutes, warning people in the neighborhood, saying, the ICE is here, ICE is here. So I don't think you should be following and stalking ICE. I don't believe you should do that. But ICE has a duty to make a decision on how they want to approach these situations and how they want to protect themselves. And in this case, it seems like, once again, excessive force was used. But what makes it even worse is that this man claimed that he feared for his life. That seems to be the thing that they do whenever they get in trouble. They claim that they fear for their life, and then it makes shooting and trying to kill somebody okay. And in this instance here, it is quite clear that there was some excessive force and some lies that were told. But this is how I know this man didn't fear for his life, and this is what we have to understand. And I wish we always got the truth, and I wish we always got to hear every word that came out of somebody's mouth after they did something. I wish we got to see the thought process, but because some of these ICE agents, these federal agents, they're not the brightest. They're not. And anybody that works for a government agency should know that their phones that they use for the government agency, that can be evidence. You should never put information in there that you're afraid of getting out. And this man claimed he was feared for his life, Truth Nation. He claimed he feared for his life. But come to find out, that doesn't seem true. The same woman you just saw speaking there had an opportunity to go to Congress yesterday, and they exposed the text messages of the federal agent moments after he shot this woman, shot at her 7 times, bullet holes in her car, bullet holes in her body. After he shot at her 7 times, you're going to hear what a congressman exposed with his text messages after he shot at an American citizen. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to watch the story. Turn up your radio or turn up your app to hear the story from this interaction on Congress yesterday.
Disgusting, shameful, and it gets worse. Ms. Martinez, these are images of texts sent by the agent who shot you. and they're actually disturbing to read, but I think it's important for the public to see this. The agent linked an article about your shooting and texted, "Read it. 5 shots, 7 holes. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys." Oh, well, it is what it is. Happens. This is someone that works for the United States government. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Now, he was talking about you, and it's our understanding that he was actually bragging about his aim shooting an unarmed American citizen. Is that right?
Correct.
I'm so sorry, Ms. Martinez. DHS has allowed the agent who shot you to remove evidence and to potentially destroy it. Is that correct?
Correct.
I don't know about y'all, but that doesn't sound like somebody that feared for their life. To brag about shooting somebody 7 times and saying, oh, well, these are the type of people, the mentality of these people on the streets. It sounds like a member of a notorious gang bragging about the bodies that he tried to catch. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like the folks we trying to round up here in the city of Milwaukee and get off the street and throw in jail. And the government is participating and willingly participating in a smear campaign on this woman, but more importantly, of covering up for this man. That alone should have got him fired and open to a lawsuit. The law enforcement folks have been caught lying, and not enough stuff is happening. When they claim that they fear for their lives, they understand that's a get-out-of-jail-free card for them. We have to eliminate that. In Truth Nation, why this is all on my mind today is because during Black History Month, right? Because during Black History Month, we talk about history, duh. And I have seen people share old images and talk about historical moments in history, even here locally here in Milwaukee. And one of the historical moments that happened here in Milwaukee was the 1967 riots in Milwaukee, which was a protest against housing discrimination and police brutality. We talking about almost 60 years later, and we still have housing discrimination here in the city of Milwaukee and around here, the counties around here. And we also still are dealing with police brutality as well, almost 60 years later. But during that time in 1967, the National Guard was called into the city of Milwaukee, and the city was put on lockdown. Some of y'all listening, I know Miss Sandra was around for that. Some of y'all listening were around for that. Some of y'all listening were young when this happened. And for me, it's personal because at that time, my grandmother was 41 years old. Not only was she 41 years old, but she was also pregnant, and she was a nurse working at a hospital here in Milwaukee. Now, while she was on her way to work, she was driving with another woman who worked at the hospital, and they were driving to work, and they had to go through a roadblock where federal guards were on 27th and North Avenue in that night of 1967. She and that woman had to go through a roadblock, and they were forced to get out of their car. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to see a photo of my grandmother in 1967. She's the one on the driver's seat. It's driver's side. 41 years old pregnant woman, hand up on the car because of this roadblock and because she was black. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this photo is triggering to me because it's especially during these times, because the thing is I'm looking at my grandmother who is now deceased, but my grandmother was targeted because she was black and she was driving during this time. They searched a pregnant black woman on her way to work. They searched her vehicle not because they just looked suspicious, but because they were black. And they understood no one would stop them from harassing these black women who were on their way to work. So when we talk about all these conversations, Truth Nation, the reason why it should be personal to us is because many of our families have these exact same stories. Truth Nation, we are living in a moment where history is repeating itself. This is happening now in America. You right now on YouTube will see a photo of my grandmother in 1967, hands on the vehicle, legs spread, pregnant belly with my uncle. Trunk open as they search the National Guard, surrounded by the National Guardsmen with guns. It may be a different cause now, but they're using the same racist tactics which target and dehumanize people. Now, I was blessed and fortunate to have a conversation with my grandmother about this in this moment. She was nervous and felt powerless in this moment. But the thing is, when I remember talking to her, it was just kind of the way of the world, the way of times, and understanding that if they tell me to do something, I just have to do it because we know what the end result can be. Y'all got to understand, my grandmother was born in 1926. People were getting hung from trees still. She's from the South. So what she saw as a child impacted her. Truth Nation, by allowing ICE to do what they are doing, they are traumatizing other families and now passing down stories of oppression and being powerless to other families, like the story that my family has and many stories that my family has and stories your family have as well. So that is why when I hear these stories and I see these things and people being shot at 7 times and having 5 bullet wounds, I'm so adamant about speaking up. This photo that you see was taken in 1967. I wasn't born for another 23 years. But my parents were just kids at the time. And seeing this photo and knowing the story, it hurts me. I still feel it. This is what you call generational trauma. How can we heal as a country when we allow those in power to continue to assault, abuse, misuse, and manipulate us? If we don't push back, this cycle will never, ever end. My grandparents experienced generational trauma. And they shared the stories that got passed down from their grandparents. And like the story of the generational trauma that my grandma had is that her grandfather, being born into slavery, was used as a footstool. And she passed that story down from her grandfather telling her that to my mama and my aunties, and they passed it down to me. We talking about a generation of a story. I just want y'all to understand. From somebody who was born in slavery having an experience. And we talking about in the 1850s, 1860s. We were talking about 150 years. And that story still touches me today. So what y'all got to understand is the chaos that we see around happening now. People being shot, people being killed. The stuff that y'all see now is going to be passed down. So the next time you want to act like this ain't got nothing to do with us, remember, just like when you have no borders and you have no walls, people believe it leads to danger. Well, the federal government that has no checks and no balances can lead to lawlessness. And an agent bragging about putting 7 holes into a person's car, 5 holes into a person's body because they can. It's wrong and it's lawlessness. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talking text line. I just felt like I had to share that today because I especially with it being Black History Month, and every time around this time of year they talk about the 1967 riots, and I always see that photo of my grandmother come up as part of history of what happened. And I loved my grandmother dearly. And I mean, I was her cow. Everybody know that I was her cow. And so with everything going on right now and thinking back to that moment and understanding how fearful my grandmother had been when you have this overreach of the government and when they try to keep people down and now people want to stay silent, but we forget that we were once in their shoes and we wanted people like Father Grappy and other people to stand up with us. And now we want to be silent when others are fighting against the same injustice that is happening. But 833-212-1017. We come back on the other side, Truth Nation. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to shift over, and we're going to talk about some of these new rules and laws coming out with policing, and also some police chases that took place around Milwaukee and unfortunately in Milwaukee yesterday. It's Truth to Power. Kyle Wallace will be back.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley?
This is she.
Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Going to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
This is 101.7 The Truth's Tory Lowe, and the time is now, Milwaukee. I believe the people who listen to the Tory Lowe Show are ready for real change in the community and love to bring all the smoke. Tap in, Truth Nation, to the Tory Lowe Show every day from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the new 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The movement continues. Milwaukee Black Talk.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. That's because their agents make you feel totally protected with a home, auto, or life policy that's just right for you. Also, you're free to enjoy your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly. Visit amfam.com today to find an agent near you or to get a quote instantly online. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and I appreciate y'all on Truth Nation on the talking text line, sharing your stories about what happened in 1967 and sharing your stories about, talking about Black history and talking about the things that impact us in that generational trauma. On the Truth Talking text line at 833-212-1017, Marquise says, sorry that happened, but I'm upset now like she was my granny. That's all good. She was everybody's granny. Now, I will say my grandma, she was very accepted. I got a cousin who started having babies at like 17, 18, I don't even know. She got like 5 of them now. Yeah, she's barely 30, 5 kids, great mother. And a lot of times, when you 17, 18, you have a kid, you kind of like, everybody want to shame you. I just remember she talked about, how my grandma was like, baby, don't worry about it. We're going to love them babies, you're going to be okay. And it gave her that comfort. That's what my grandma did. She always gave that comfort to everybody. So I'm very appreciative. Everybody know, a lot of people know Mother Wallace. What's really crazy is how connected Milwaukee was back in the day. All the folks that knew each other growing up around the city of Milwaukee, and I can't go nowhere without people. When people see me and they know my dad, they be like, oh, you look like? I was like, yeah, that's my daddy. Like, how your parents doing? But anyways, you can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And Reginald Jones talked about how he was traumatized back in the day from 1969 when he had to go to Lloyd Street School as a child. And, he was traumatized from 69, which is a long time ago, 50 plus years ago. Thomas said, I remember having a curfew lockdown in Menominee Falls during the riots in 1967. My radical Catholic church was a staunch supporter of Father Grappi. Chief Breyer was a major too. tool. Yes, he was. He was terrible. Chief Breyer was terrible. And so, again, we talking about these memories that, yeah, they're memories, but they're reality of what happened. And the older I get, especially when I look in that photo of my grandma was 41, and I'm getting closer to that now that I'm 35. And right now, we're living through history. There's going to be a moment in time, y'all, is that people are going to look at a photo, and they're going to look at that photo 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, and they're going to be thinking, I wonder what was going through these people's minds. Now, we live in a time now where you have so much technology, and we have everything in video, we have everything in recording. Like, you have a better understanding of history, even though we have a good understanding of history now, but everybody has so much access to a platform that all this information gets out there. Some good, some bad, some right, some wrong. But there will be a moment in time, y'all, where somebody's going to look back on this and have a conversation about it. And I always want to make sure that when people hear me talk or when people have conversations or see things, I want to make sure that my legacy is left in a positive light. I don't want to be seen as somebody on the wrong side of history. I don't want to be seen as somebody that went against what was right. And as I was looking through some of those photos yesterday and the day before, because I was telling the story. I love telling the story. I was telling the story to my girl about, the pictures and things going on now. And I was looking at some of the white folks that was standing and shouting and looking, right? And I was trying to look to say, I wonder if it looked like anybody's parents, right? And so people always use the excuse, well, I was young, I didn't know. Well, I'm sorry. I wasn't the best decision maker as a child, but by the time I was a teenager, I understood right from wrong. Like, you understand what's wrong. And then as you get older, 19, 20, 25, you start understanding more. But I remember looking at the photos in 1967, they were going through it, and some people were holding Confederate flags in the city of Milwaukee. And some folks had posters talking about Wallace for president. Now, I ain't talking about my family Wallace. I'm talking about the Governor Wallace from down south that was running for president, who was racist, who I believe said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. I believe that was Wallace. I had to look it up. His quote about segregation. Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. An infamous quote from George Wallace when he was governor of Alabama in 1963, which became a rally cry for segregationists. Crazy. In 1963. But Truth Nation, when we do come back, I'm going to take a break, but when we come back on the other side, I do want to talk about Jeffrey Norman, and I want to talk about these police chases, and I want to talk about the future of policing here in America. Keep it locked. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube. We can give us a like and a share, but I'm going to talk about something good that's coming to the community with policing.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. This Friday night, we have a city conference showdown as the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers battle the Carmen Northwest Eagles. Fast breaks, big shots, and bragging rights on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. The City Conference Game of the Week on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com is sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools and presented by Gruber Law Offices.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good, because today I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, What deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
I caught an Uber in the evening, and my show comes on. The playback is at 6. My show comes on at 6 to 9. The driver was Somalian, and I was just, in the back seat. And so he was listening to my show. And we was talking about what was going on in Minnesota.
What was his take?
No, he liked my show. He liked it. He liked my show. He didn't know it was me, though. He didn't know that the person that was on the radio was in his back seat. So what was funny was I was listening to me and listening to how he was listening to the show. And so I asked him, I said, you like that show? And he was like, oh, yeah, I love that show.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. With trade rumors swirling around Milwaukee and Pfizer Forum, the Bucks picked up a much-needed win against the I-94 rivalry Chicago Bulls. Doc Rivers on NBA Countdown about the trade rumors.
Giannis just said everything that we need to hear, that he wants to be a Buck, he loves the city, and that's all I can go by as a coach right now.
And, of course, Pete Nance after the 131-115 win over the Bulls.
Things haven't been going the way we want them to be, but for us to come together as a group tonight and get this win is huge for morale.
Tonight, the Bucks face Zion Williamson and the Pelicans in Milwaukee. That game begins at 7. In college basketball, UWM faces the Detroit Titans tonight at 7, while Marquette and the Badgers return Saturday at 1 p.m. and 11 a.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
This is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, and President's Day is here, and Steinhoffels is celebrating big. Right now, save at least 10% off store-wide on the furniture you've been waiting for. And it gets better. Spend over $49.99 and Steinhoffels will give you a 65-inch 4K smart TV plus test rest a beauty black mattress for your chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii. It's the President's Day sale at Steinhoffels. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. I'm telling y'all, they got all the great stuff. I was inside Steinhoffels last Saturday walking around there like, ooh, I can't wait to save up and do some updating coming up this spring. So go ahead and visit Steinhoffels in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. Keep it locked as we'll be giving away your chance to get entered to win $5,000. But with that being said, Truth Nation, you can watch the streamers live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. And, Milwaukee, I thought was out the clear for being in the news cycle yesterday because there's a whole bunch of police chases that took place over the past 48 hours in the city of Milwaukee. And over those past couple of days, the first one started in Waukesha. I don't know if y'all heard about this. I was going to talk about it last week, but ran out of time. There was a drive-by shooting in Waukesha, and the police ended up finding him in Brookfield, and they ended up apprehending him. And you know what I'm happy about? It's the fact that when it comes to this police drive-by shooting, he don't look like us. He don't look like us. So let me be very clear in this case. If y'all are wondering, it was not us, and I'm happy that it wasn't one of us. And then yesterday morning, there was a police chase that took place in Wauwatosa. And I think I told y'all about this yesterday, that Dr. King called me yesterday talking about, hey, there's a police chase going on. Let me tell the newsroom. And it ended up involving a stolen police vehicle. Shout out to Dr. King because he was like, I think there's a police vehicle part of this too because the door's wide open. And it's very, very wild. And when I heard this story, I was like, what? This man had a crazy, like less than 24 hours. He initially was pulled over in Oak Creek for domestic violence. Then he was in a pursuit with the police because of retail theft from Brown Deer and got away. The man got away. So the man had police contact for domestic violence. Then he stole something from a retail store and got away from the police. So you would think, my goodness, brother, go lay low somewhere. Nope. Next thing you know, he was in the same white minivan a little later that day in Tulsa where he was caught by the police. And when he got caught by the police, they pinned him in. The police had him. That man jumped out his car. He did a little Barry Sanders on the police and jumped into a police car and drove off. Crazy. Crazy. He did get caught. But I said, hey, that ain't us. When I said ain't us, it wasn't the city of Milwaukee. That happened out in Waukesha and Brookfield and Wauwatosa. That wasn't Milwaukee, only to find out yesterday afternoon, police officers conducted a traffic stop around Fond du Lac and Locust. The person stopped, but then eventually drove off, leading to a police chase, and the person was driving reckless. Now, during the police chase, a passenger exited the vehicle and got chased near 98th and Lisbon, and then the person who was a suspect stopped the car as well. There's another person who was a suspect. They stopped the car, and they fled on foot. And the police, when they saw him fleeing on foot, saw a gun, and they commanded for him to drop his gun. He didn't listen. He ended up getting shot and killed. Now, the reason why I bring this all up, Truth Nation, is because it is extremely dangerous for our communities that we have people driving reckless and we have people being shot at. And that's why I think the future of policing is something that we need to discuss. Because last year alone, with these police pursuits and chases, 9 people lost their lives in the city of Milwaukee. Now, Chief Jeffrey Norman is a very smart man. He has his JD. He could be a lawyer, an attorney. And he is starting to talk about steps to protect citizens, and I'm all on board for that in the future of policing here in the city. Now, I'm pretty sure he joined Truth in the Morning this morning with Homer Blow, and I believe it was Bailey Coleman today. And they talked to Police Chief Jeffrey Norman about these pursuits and some things happening in our community. And I'm happy to hear them, and I'm happy to read about the fact that the pursuit changes are coming to Milwaukee where they're looking on Friday, where they're looking to be more safe. And I applaud Chief Norman for being strategic and coming up with an actual plan in this city. And it was triggered by what we saw last year where they felt like, you know what, we can't allow for people in this community to lose their lives due to this. So he decided that, you know what, I'm going to take this personal, and as a police chief, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we implement changes so we no longer see these unacceptable numbers of people losing their lives during these police pursuits. Now, the new policy states that speed alone can no longer be the sole reason for a pursuit. Officers must identify at least one additional factor, such as a collision or with another vehicle, forcing other drivers to take evasive action to avoid a crash, or failing to slow or stop at a controlled intersection. So now they have to go through a process and a list to decide what their plan of action is going to be. The future of policing has arrived here in the city of Milwaukee with this, but then in addition to that, the police department, a little bit of a while ago, earlier this year, they released and they launched their first drone responder program. Now, some people have looked at this drone responder program with mixed reviews, but I am one who actually liked this drone response program. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to see the Fox 6 news story about the drone response program that they have in Milwaukee. In 833-212-1017, I want y'all to ponder. You can text in, you can even call in, or make sure y'all go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube and let me know. Do you believe that drones are a good investment of our tax dollars? Do you believe that this should be the future of policing in Milwaukee? Do you believe that this could be a safer way for us to police and pursue folks in the city of Milwaukee? Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, as we'll have the story of the new way to police here in the city of Milwaukee. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube for the news story.
Kelvy is here with a behind-the-scenes look. Jason, it's a look up, right?
Yeah, Mary, it's an eye in the sky. Let's say a 911 call comes in. One of the first responders on scene might not be a police car, but a drone. MPD now has the ability to launch a drone to see what's going on. They call it drones as first responders. MPD is using sworn officers as drone pilots. They're able to remotely control the drones. 3 drones are docked on the roof of District 7. That's on the city's northwest side. The drones can then fly ahead with no stoplights or traffic and get a camera on what is happening right away. That information can then help responding officers.
Understand that this tool helps us be, again, that force multiplier, working to respond to those calls for service, that we can get out there quicker, and using these resources in a way that helps us do the best work for our city.
Some groups have worries about police using drones. Last year, the ACLU of Wisconsin said it was worried about surveillance drones and privacy. MPD policies say drones can be used for things like land and water searches and rescues, active threats, protests, and chases. Mary, coming up at 6, we're going to look at how the city...
Listen, I don't give a dang what the ALCU got to say, because at the end of the day, I feel like some people just want to complain about stuff just to complain about stuff. Yeah, should people be weary about something? Sure. But I don't understand all this noise and all the people who don't think that this is a great idea for the city of Milwaukee. Like, what are we doing? What are we having a conversation about? Zach, I mean, I don't know how well traveled you are, but have you ever been to a place where you've seen a chopper in the air for a police chase before? I have been. I was in Hollywood, California back in 2011 going into 2012 for the Rose Bowl. And I never forget, I said, is that real? I feel like it was GTA, Grand Theft Auto. I said, they got a police chopper in the air looking for people. So ain't nothing new with this. But now it's just more efficient. What's the difference between a helicopter and now you got a drone? A drone is more efficient, more economical. Do some people just love to complain? Because that's what I get at some points. I feel like some people just love to complain. But for real, though, do some people not understand the benefits of having these drones? And I totally get it. Policing needs to be improved. I get that. There's some issues with policing. We need to have people who are actually caring about the city and roaming the streets who actually care about the community. I get that. But we need to hold the police to be more accountable. I get that. But I'm 100% with the fact that we have an opportunity to make things more safe for police and make things more safe for citizens. So just because you disagree with the approach of the department a lot of times doesn't mean you need to hate everything that they do. And we live in a city that consistently has a high level of crime. We live in a city where we talked about last year, you saw a high number of stolen vehicle speed chases. We live in a city where with these speed chases, innocent people are being impacted. A man was paralyzed last year from a speed chase, decreasing his quality of life. Why will we not support utilizing technology to our advantage? Why would we push back against something like that? We're in the age of AI, and let me tell y'all this right now. What y'all don't realize is that the government is already going beyond whatever you think they are when it comes to facial recognition technology, license plate recognition technology. It's already out there. Y'all should look up what Palantir does and look up who bought Ring Doorbell, the company that bought Ring Doorbell. Y'all should look at them and why they had to deal with a federal case of an overreach. So we're already living in a society that we don't really have privacy. We're already living in a society where AI is starting to take over. But when we're talking about utilizing this drone technology to make people safer, I don't understand why we would be upset about this. And a couple segments ago, I just talked about how we had 3 different scenarios of police chases in the city of Milwaukee where they had to swerve through traffic. Now, thank goodness, no innocent person was injured during this. But wouldn't it be great to be able to have a drone that could just follow and see the direction and hopefully find a way to get police to go in a certain direction to cut this person off to stop them when they don't know exactly where they're running away from when it comes to a drone? It's harder to run away from a drone than it is a police car. And with that, you now make it safer for people on the road so no innocent people could get hit, and also for officers as well. Because when the police have to go to a situation where they don't know what they're walking into, that can be dangerous for them. But now you have an opportunity to make their jobs more safe. And I know a lot of y'all don't like the police. Sometimes I don't like Dr. Ken Harris, but most times I do. But wouldn't it be much better when they walk into a situation where they can use drones to scope out what's happening at a situation at a house, whether it's domestic violence or whatever it is, and so they go in there and they don't have guns ablazing, and they can walk in there and know, hey, maybe we should bring somebody with mental health experience to come work somebody through this situation. So I just feel like sometimes we get upset about stuff just because when we hear the police, we want to be mad about it. But in reality, I think this is a good way for the future. And I feel like if we continue to utilize technology, we can put less people in harm's way. 833-212-1017. If you have any thoughts here on the fact that it looks like drone technology is going to be taking place here in the city of Milwaukee when it comes to going to certain instances. I know that they said that the drones, within like their first week, responded to a whole bunch of incidents across the city of Milwaukee. But then on top of that, there's going to be a new pursuit policy in the city of Milwaukee that goes into effect on Friday. And how much we bash the police, how much we bash the city, how much we bash MPS, I am going to say this. In 2026, I'm going to continue to highlight some of the good things that are happening in the city while I also highlight the bad things. But this is a positive for the city of Milwaukee, and this is a positive for the police force. But 833-212-1017, I'm going to share my final thoughts on the other side. But before we do, Truth Nation, you already know what time it is.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all is right. Truth Nation, now is your chance to be our one call, that's all, 5K Gruber giveaway entry for the day. Yes, you could be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices in the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Be calling number 10 right now at 833-212-1017, and you will be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices in 1017 The Truth. Again, that is caller number 10 at 833-212-1017 for your chance to be entered to win $5,000. We just gave away some money last week. And we'll be giving away money again 5 months from now. Be calling number 10 at 833-212-1017. Remember, if you or a loved one has ever been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today by visiting them at gruber-law.com. Gruber-law.com. When we come back on the other side, I'll share my final thoughts and wrap up the show for today.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. On Wednesday night, the Milwaukee Panthers complete their homestand as they host the Detroit Mercy Titans at the UWM Panther Arena.
Refeed the block. Franklin, contact, yes! Score it in one. Back to the top, Dixon. Driving right, step back, wing, three on the way, and he hit it! Josh Dixon with a ceiling scraper.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and the Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
Congrats to our winner, Mildrea, as she had her chance to get entered to win the 5K giveaway. Make sure you tune into The Truth with Sherwin Hughes tomorrow, where he'll get you registered to win that cash. But also, the award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence in the most monumental moments in our history. All month long, we'll be honoring the voices, the stories, and the achievements that have shaped our past and empowered our present and continue to inspire our future. Tune in to Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know. And Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experience that define who they are. Tune in all month long as 1017 The Truth lifts up the legacy, the brilliance, and the power of Black history, because Black history isn't just history. It's happening every day. 1017 The Truth Celebration of Black History Month is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law. Also, Truth Nation, make sure y'all sign up for our Truth Community Awards coming up. 3 weeks away. I'll get a chance to get somebody entered to win a pair of tickets to the Truth Community Awards. So make sure y'all stay tuned in tomorrow for your chance to win. But also, tickets are on sale now. We just released some of the names who are going to be recognized. Shout out to Erica Crowley. Shout out to Andre Douglas. I'm excited to have Andre Douglas specifically. That's the person I nominated because all the great work he's doing in the community. There are people right now listening whose children were touched by Andre Douglas in a way, well, that sounded odd, who were inspired by Andre Douglas in the sense of him helping to uplift different people to be great. So many different children were inspired by the work that he did to help them get to college and get through college. So shout out to the work that he did, and I'm so excited to highlight that on February 20th. And make sure you go to 1017truthawards.com. That's 1017truthawards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Stein Hoffels, Cousin Subs, and Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Truth Nation, today I just really wanted to talk about history, but also the future of policing. And one thing we have to do as a community, we have to stop pushing back on everything that is done by certain organizations. Because I feel a lot of times we don't give folks the benefit of the doubt, which to each their own. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to give the police department the benefit of the doubt. And I see here on the talking text line, somebody said, I don't run naked in my yard and curtains are closed. Drone on, drone on. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And I feel like we have to sometimes take our biases out of situations and truly accurately evaluate things on whether or not they can be a true benefit to our society. That's the only thing that should matter to us. I'm not here to tell people how to think. I'm not here to tell people how they should feel, but I'm here to tell people maybe we should reconsider the things that we evaluate and how we evaluate things and take our bias out of it. I am not anti-police, but I do think police need a lot of work here in the community, in the city of Milwaukee. I do wish that police didn't have that residency radius where they had to live within a certain miles to be here. I wish they all had to live in the city of Milwaukee simply because I think it's important for you to live in the community that you are policing. But that's not the fact that we have to deal with right now, and I'm not going to allow that to deter me from looking at certain situations and saying, well, you know what? This is a good thing. And if we can utilize technology to save lives, that's the most important thing. We saw those police chases. You saw that boy last year basically burn up in the car. I'd never forget when he tried to open that door to get out that car and he was on fire.
1, 2.
And I think you could potentially avoid things like that because if they don't know how you pursuing them and they realize they can't shake and bake and get out of it, who knows what's going to do? Who knows what decisions they're going to make? But I just think if we can get people to stop recklessly driving when they're running away from the police, and we can get the police not pursuing people and evading traffic and cars, we can be a safer community. If police know when they go to a certain situation that it's not going to be extremely hostile and they can approach a situation where they're not guns a-blazing or on pins and needles, I think that's good for the community as well. But this has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I appreciate y'all tapping in today to the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh. The Tory Lowe Show will be up next from 1 to 4. Tomorrow will be another jam-packed show with a lot of great information. And thank y'all so much for listening. Love y'all. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence and the most monumental